It feels good. It feels good to finally talk about this. It's been a while since I did an anime episodic review. It's been a while. The truth is, I haven't been motivated. I haven't really wanted to truly do it. But yet, here we are. Mushoku Tensei comes back. Brings back my drive. And I'm like, yes, let's do this, baby. Because, whoa. People were complaining about Season 2. The animation ain't good at Season 1. Why? Because there's not enough fight scenes? Well, because Season 2 wasn't about fight scenes. Season 2 was a foundation season. It was laying down a foundation of the recurring characters throughout the show itself. It was an introduction, in a way. It was an adventure episode. It was more of a character-driven episodes that you were getting. Only towards the end, you have your action. But that was it. Everything else was just Rudeus just building his life back up together. Finally moving on. Marrying Selphie. Finding his sisters coming to him and learning to live with his sisters. And then finally, rescuing his mom with his dad and then seeing Paul die. And getting over that and getting a second wife, Roxy. Oh god, the memes back in the day were hilarious. So, they were truly hilarious. So it feels like every other, we're getting a season every other year. Not yearly, but every other year. So that's how long we gotta wait for those top crisp episodes. But you saw these first two episodes, how good the animation was. Do you have your doubts? Do you still trash and tarnish the name that is Mushoku Tensei? Of course not. Because the Eris arc, the Mad Dog arc, proved you wrong. And proved my reinsurance that everything is still alright with Studio Bind in Mushoku Tensei. And oh boy, they did one heck of a job. One heck of a job. And they did that by showing the Mad Dog arc. Now, I remember before all this, they were trying to do an Eris spinoff. Like Roxy had a spinoff and stuff like that. But they kind of canceled it. It was only one arc and then it canceled. So I guess they didn't really know what they were going to do with the arc. And some of the things that they were having to do made no sense. So that's why they're okay, we can't do this. We can't do this. So they went back to the drawing board not to do it. Let's just show them what we already have in Season 3. Because everyone's wondering, where is Eris? What has Eris been up to? What's going on with Eris? And then we see it. And it starts off right at the second last episode of Season 1. After being with Rudeus on her birthday, she leaves him, realizing that despite how Rudeus is younger than her, he is more capable. Not through strength, but through determination and will. He's able, because one thing that they didn't really show you is after they lost to the Dragon God, Rudeus was working on the magic Ranma, the stirred magic, and he was learning just in case he ever faces the Dragon God again. Already, he's thinking about his next move, and that's where Eris was looking at him she was like, I hope I don't want to face that guy ever again. But seeing Rudeus already planning out his next move, made wow, he really is more ahead of me. Yeah, I can kick his butt, but he has that resolve. He has that brain to do things. So she goes with Ghislaine, and she takes her to the Sword God training domain. Yes, they go there, where all the Sword God trainers are there. And if you realize, they're all stupid. They're all stupid. They all can't read or write or do magic. Because the point of the Sword God training is to learn the sword, and that is it. Clear your mind, empty your head, and think forward. That is it. Swing that blade. Nothing else. And you see there are 3 sword styles in this anime. Well, more than that, but the main ones we're learning here is Sword God, Dwarf God, and Water God. 3 styles. I believe I talked about this before, but I don't mind talking about it again. Because the detail in how this world works is very interesting. Now, When it comes to these sword god styles, the sword god style is, like I said, simple. Swing fast, swing hard. That is it. You don't think, you just go in. That is it. The water god style was made to counteract those who couldn't completely do the sword god style because they're always thinking with their brain. So water god style in a way is more acceptable for those who think. Believe it or not, there are more dumb people than there are smart people in this world. So a lot of people would do the sword god style. The water god style is patience, is calm, is collective. You think, you let your opponents come to you. It is a counter to sword god style. So that's why you see one of the characters, Isolde, who is one of Eris's new friends, show up. Eris could not beat her because Eris was always about not thinking and just going and swinging. And that's what Isolde, a water god in training, was looking forward to. She knows how to deal with people who don't think and fight them. So the sword god style doesn't really mean much to her until she meets a sword god person who can think. That's where Nina shows up. And by the way, Nina, oh my god, dude, man, they beat the crap on you. People, I was spazzing out in season 2 reviews, like holy crap, that's Nina. That's Nina over there. And when Rudius was fighting with people and was showing everything that was happening in season 2 and this season, yes, that was Nina. Nina went all the way to that area of the Magical Academy because she wanted to beat up Rudius because she wanted to get back at Eris so badly. And the reason why she thought she could beat Rudius so badly is because that world is very discriminatory. Everyone stays in their place. You notice how other people don't try other things? They just stick to one thing and that's it. In that world, that's how it is in that world. For instance, mages in that world are highly looked down upon. And the reason why is because, one, they're weak. They don't train their bodies. A lot of mages in that world don't train their bodies. And that they're adventuring. So they have good stamina, but that's it. They don't have strength or good endurance. They just know how to have that cardio in them. But that's it. And plus, so most of their spells takes a while to chant. It takes a while for them to chant their spells, so therefore a sword god or any other form of fighter can come in and beat them. So they must always stay in the rear of formation, or else they are screwed. So a lot of people look down on mages, despite how useful their magic is, but in battle, in close distance battle, they are dead. They can't win no matter what. That's what makes Rudius the exception. You see, Paul wanted Rudius to be a sword fighter, and Zenith wanted him to be a magic user. So they trained him in both. He can't master a sword completely. He don't have the sword skills, but he can counter himself. But he makes up for it for training. He exercises. He does push-ups, sit-ups, crunches. He swings the sword. He does cardio every single day. You know, he does that stuff, and he eats very healthy. So because of that, he has strong body, good endurance, amazing stamina, and cardio. And because of that, he became the strongest mage in that world. Plus his voice's incantations makes him extremely OP. No other mage can do that unless you train them at an extremely young age. They can do voices incantations. You have to train them young, very young, or else it can't work. So that's where Rudius comes in. That's why he is the strongest mage in that world. He has done something that no other mage has done. Physically train his body, have endurance, and also learning magic at an extremely young age. So because of that, he became a very special guy. Anyway, now you think only Rudius can do that. No. Remember, the little dwarf girl can now use voices incantations as well because they train her at a young age. So as long as you train your child at a young age, you can become a voices incantation mage, become a master mage at a young age. It's possible. Yes. So when Nina saw Rudius land a blow on the fighting god, Bondi Gadi, it was fascinating. No one else can beat him. He is a legendary creature from the days of old. One of the last creatures from the days of old when the world had 6 faces. That's where he came from. But he was just a little baby back then. A little baby. But anyways, she came back and became friends with Eris because Eris humiliated her in the first episode. And she pretty much humiliated everyone. Everyone but the Masters. You had Ubel, Rindia, and of course you have Farion, the sword god. And he realized Eris' goal was to defeat Oyster, but he doesn't know how. Oyster knows every technique there is in that world. So therefore he can't be stopped. So how do you train someone to fight someone who knows everything? You get everyone else on the crew. You train, you bring in different teachers, and they fight her. Because Eris can't learn anything else but Sword God. She is not a smart person, but she does know how to read and write and speak other languages, thanks to Rudius. And that is impressive in the Sword Kingdom because no one else can read or write. They're all idiots, like I said, they're all idiots. They're all idiots. So as the show goes by, Ghislaine starts out. I mean, not Ghislaine, but Eris starts out. She is a mad dog. She is rude, she is obnoxious, she's oblivious, very aggressive, always having killing intent on. And she was just beating down everyone around her. Everyone that was not a master, anyways. So Gaul gave her some humility by beating the crap out of her. So as time goes on, she meets 2 other characters that helps her grow. Nina and Isolde. Isolde is very patient, always have her eyes closed. She's one of those characters, the one that really thinks. And those 2 were in a circle, a rock, paper, scissors circle, in a way. Isolde would beat Eris, but Nina would beat Isolde, and Eris would beat Nina. So, but the 2 couldn't beat each other equally because they were all 3 of them were lacking something. So they start spending time together, even to the point where Eris slowly starts to open up and talk with them. She realized she can't grow as she is. Remember, she left Rudius because she felt like she couldn't grow because she was always relying on Rudius. And she was also always relying on what she only knew. So because of that, she could not grow. If you want to defeat someone like the Dragon God, you can't just go by what you know because he knows so much. So in order to face someone like him, you need to know more. So that's what Eris needed to do. She needed to at least learn counter these moves. Even though she can't learn the techniques, she at least can know the techniques so she knows her way around them. Fight against Northgard style. Northgard style, which I haven't talked about yet, is also thinking but through trickery. You're not that intelligent, but you're street smarts. You know tricky moves to get yourself out of quick situations. You have potential to be Sword God, but you are a little bit smarter than them. And so you can't really be around them. And you are throwing the tricks. Something that Paul was. Paul was not a smart dude, but he was a cunning man. He was very cunning. He knows how to trick people and stuff like that. Because of that, he pissed a lot of people off back in the day. That's what Paul did. So because of that, he was able to be a North Saint, I believe. Yeah, he was a North Saint. I don't think he even became North King, but he was a very good North Saint that he could have became North King. And probably even North Emperor if he trained a little bit more, but he gave it up for a family. So, family man. But anyways, the 3 hung around each other and started being trained by a Northern Emperor, a Water God, and the Sword God. And at the end of the 2nd episode, they all learned from each other of what they need to do. Eris, instead of being aggressive, smiled and learned a new way to beat Isolde. And of course, Nina's self-esteem went down even more because she's like, man, you're always finding a way to beat people. Now, another character I like to talk about, but not a lot, is Juno. Juno, the youngest sword member in the area. He's young, he looks innocent, stuff. They showed one scene. One scene is when they were training with each other a second time, and they realized things were getting louder all of a sudden. Like, hey, things getting louder all of a sudden, and it pointed out to Juno. They're throwing hints. Like, you won't see this hint until, like, the last season. I'm sorry. That's all I'm going to say. They're throwing hints out you. Throwing hints, man. And I can't say anymore, but that's it. Just throwing hints. So Eris learns a new look. She came in aggressive, ignorant, isolated, and now she has friends. She's thinking a little bit more. She's clean, less bloodthirsty, but she still has her teeth. Anyway, so she has the potential to even become a sword god, probably, if she keeps this up. So that is the last we'll see of Eris for now. We won't see Eris again for a little while, but that's the last we see of her for now. And I gotta say, it was good. It was only 2 episodes, but I feel like it was a good arc for character development for one character. But that's what happens when you nicely pace out your story in anime formation. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. Oh, God, it feels good talking about this again. It really does, man. I'm so happy. And of course, now that we have this, we're going to have that Eris figurine, the one I have been waiting for so freaking long. People were so impatient that they actually got people on Etsy to make their own Eris figurines, but also Ghislaine and Rudia's figurines. Let's face it, the only time we get figurines of Mushoku Tensei is always Roxy and then Selfie, but no grown-up Eris because she hasn't shown up yet. But still, you have a lot of amazing characters in Mushoku Tensei, and you only want to do the girls. It sucks. It sucks. I want an official Rudia's figurine. Why is that so hard, man? But I digress. But anyways, this is great. It's great to have Mushoku Tensei back and on 4th of July and stuff. Man. Funny enough is I didn't cook today. Nope, I actually have to work on 4th of July at night. So what I'm really going to do, just to let you know, this is what I want to say, I am doing all-out cooking Monday because no one's grilling Monday. So, hey, be out there with the fam, and it'll be easy to grill. No one else will be out there but us. So that's funny. And it's smart, everyone's working today. So might as well do it Monday. But anyways, it's good to have this back. I'm glad it's back, and boy oh boy. And we're getting 27 episodes. 27 episodes. Yo, stop. Oh man, so we got Mushoku Tensei, we got Tanya, and ReZero will come back in the fall. We got the best Isekai. Now, if only Overlord came back and stuff, it would be great. It would be great indeed. So anyways, that's all I got for this video. I could talk more, but I don't think I want to. But the video longer than it already is. It's almost 20 minutes, for God's sakes. So, that's all I got for this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, of course. Hit that bell icon. This has the background. I'm Anime. Signing out.